Chapter 6 Kunti and her children. Lord Krishna's grandfather Sura had a beautiful daughter called Preeta. Since his cousin Kunti Boja was childless, Sura gave his daughter to him in adoption. Preeta was henceforth known as Kunti. When Kunti was a young girl, sage Durvasa stayed at their palace as their guest. During this time, Kunti served the great sage with humility and dedication. When the time came for Durvasa to take leave, he called Kunti, granted her a boon, and said, "Child, I am extremely pleased with your kindness and the service you have provided." He taught her a divine mantra and continued, "Whichever god you concentrate on and utter this mantra, he will manifest himself before you and bless you with a son who will be equal to him in stature and glory." Saying this, the sage left the palace. Kunti, with the curiosity that is natural for a little girl, wanted to test this boon. She looked straight at the sun and repeated the mantra. Immediately, the sky grew dark, and the sun god, shining with all his glory, appeared before Kunti and blessed her with a son and disappeared. This son of Kunti was Karna. Karna shone beautifully like the sun god himself. He was born with the divine armor and earrings which was attached to his flesh. Kunti was petrified. She was just a little girl and she had a baby in her arms. She did not know how to handle the situation. She placed Karna in a chest and covered him with a silk cloth. She led the chest afloat in a river and watched with tears as Karna floated away. The chest drifted for many miles before being found by a childless charioteer. He was overjoyed at finding the radiant child and raised him as his own from there on. Many years later, Pandu, the son of Vichitravirya, after becoming king of Hastinapura, married Kunti in a Swayamvara. After that, he took on another wife called Madri. So Pandu had two wives, Kunti and Madri. One day, when Pandu went hunting in the forest, he killed a deer. Unfortunately, Pandu did not know that the deer was in fact a sage who was sporting the guise of a deer along with his wife. Before dying, the sage cursed Pandu that he would drop dead the moment he experiences physical relationship with any woman. Pandu was horrified at hearing this curse, for it meant that he could never have children. Unable to control his grief, he gave up the kingdom and left it to Bhishma to rule. Pandu then retired into the forest with his two wives, Kunti and Madri. Let us pause for a moment here to reflect an ironical situation. Remember the fisherman chief who made Bhishma take the supreme vow to never marry anybody? He did so in the interest that Satyavati's son and their sons would be kings. He did that to prevent Bhishma from ever ruling the kingdom. Irony was such that Chitrangada died at a very young age and Bhishma ruled the kingdom until Vichitravirya could be old enough. Later, Vichitravirya also died and Bhishma ruled again. Since Dhritarashtra was born blind, Bhishma ruled yet again until Pandu grew older. And now, Pandu retired to the forest, leaving Bhishma to rule the kingdom once more. Bhishma was forced to make a vow to never want to rule Hastinapura. Situation was such that he ended up ruling the kingdom, the same kingdom, over and over again. This is karma. We lead our lives making the best laid plans. We spend each day in contemplating complicated situations to make more money, or to convince someone, or to move to another city, or to invest in property. We also behave highly opinionated and hurt those around us. Our only interest is self-gratification. We must get what we want at all cost. This is how we are. Alas, it never happens that way. Nothing ever goes according to plan. As time passes, the path laid for us reveals itself automatically, and our plans are generally put to shame. This is destiny. This is karma. Fighting it is like an ant trying to swim in a vast ocean. Simple acceptance of each day as a gift is the only way to experience true happiness. Back to the story. Pandu was a very remorseful man even in the forest. Unable to see her husband in suffering, Kunti revealed her childhood experience with sage Durvasa and the boon that she had been given. Pandu was joyed by this news and asked Kunti to utter the mantra and obtain the children that his heart deeply desired. Kunti agreed. First, she meditated on Lord Yamadharma, and he blessed her with her first son, Yudhishthira. Next, Kunti invoked the wind god Vayu and was blessed with her second son, Bhima. Third, she invoked Lord Indra, king of all devas, and was blessed with her third son, Arjuna. On seeing that Madri would also desire motherhood, Kunti taught the sacred mantra to her. Madri invoked the Ashwini gods and was blessed with the twins Nakula and Sahadeva. In all, Pandu, Kunti, and Madri had 5 sons. These 5 sons were famously known as the mighty Pandavas. Yudhishthira was known for his high moral conduct and knowledge of the Vedas and Shastras. Bhima was known for his incredible physical strength. Arjuna was brilliant at archery. There was none equal to him. Nakula and Sahadeva were known to be excellent swordsmen. Before we end this chapter, there is one more incident to mention. In a few years after the birth of the Pandavas, Pandu gave in to his senses and attempted to have physical relationship with Madri. The curse of the sage who Pandu killed took effect, and Pandu fell dead on the spot. Madri, unable to bear her husband's death and the guilt that she was the cause, that she was the reason for this, jumped into Pandu's funeral pyre and ended her life as well. Kunti returned to Hastinapura and entrusted the Pandavas under the tutelage of Bhishma. At this time, the Pandavas were mere teenagers.